morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. No, just kidding. I hope some of you know where that's from. Anyway, hello and welcome to our very first Blockbuster Archives. And with me is my co-host and all around actually rather positive guy. You know, as much as he hates to admit it, he is rather a positive guy. The one and only Stig Kenobi. Good morning, Stig.
Hi. And it's it's afternoon. It's 3 p.m. in Norway. And I've had a great day. I got 6 Blu-rays in the mail, and I finished reading Treasure Island. Rereading
great
Treasure
book.
Island.
Great.
So I have had a superb day so far.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
Treasure Island. I got 6. Let's see. I'll tell you which movies I got. You'll be impressed. It's The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
And then a Stallone collection box that contains Cobra, Assassins, Tango and Cash, The Specialist, and Demolition Man.
Oh my God, all fantastic films.
Yes. And combined with shipping, it was about $23.
Huh.
So pretty cheap for 6 movies that are so rewatchable.
Yes. And that's on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
That's
got it on the UK Amazon site. Actually,
awesome.
The Stallone box was just $10 or something. The Running Man one cost as much as the box.
Huh. Really? Interesting. Well, you got those Stallone films for a steal. I'm going to have to find that and hunt it down. Even though I own all of those movies, I don't have them on Blu-ray.
Oh, I try to buy the rewatchable movies on Blu-ray and not just buy movies willy-nilly like I used to do.
That makes sense. You're being more conscious and considerate about your collection.
Yeah, and about the space I have for them. Which is, movies take up a lot of space pretty fast.
Yes, they do, and it's totally worth it. So do books. Also totally worth it.
Oh, yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, which is probably a lot of you because this is a brand new monthly show that Stig and I are going to be doing, we give each other 2 films for each of us to watch, and...
Well, 1 film for each of us to watch.
Yes, sorry. 1 film for each of us to watch. And then we get together and we talk about it. And then once we've done that, so the parameters are, it has to be a film that is from a specific year. And we are starting with Stig.
1980.
Look at that, 1980. So, really the only parameters are that they have to be from the same year. So we will be starting with 1980 and we're going to work our way all the way up to the 2000 and then probably come back to 1980 because there's more than just 2 films in 1980. I know that that's probably shocking to some, but there were more than 2 films in 1980. Did you know that, Stig?
Yeah, I think it was at least 17.
Yeah, I think so. However, so not only are we going to be doing 2 films from the year, we will also be sharing 5 fun facts of that year.
Yeah, like a mini history lesson.
Yes, hence Blockbuster Archives. So we get a little bit of history, get a little bit of film, get a little bit of opinions from one another. And the fun part is next month, it's going to be 1981. And this will have to wait till the end. We're going to keep you hooked, I guess. But we have each picked out a film from 1981 for each other that we're going to share with you so that if you want to join us again next month, you can watch the films yourself.
Exactly.
And so it'll just be all around fun. Because, I mean, who wants to talk about stuff they hate all the time? Let's talk about good stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So, You'll have to forgive my voice. I've been out and about since like 5 a.m. trying to get chores done so that I could make it on time, and I was still a little bit late, so I apologize. All right, my 5 facts from 1980 are going to be specific to the US of A, and Stig has got 5 facts of 1980 around the world. So, I think, Stig, why don't you go first, and then I'll share one of mine, and we can go back and forth.
Okay, my first fact is about, deaths and births, basically, of 1980. On December 8th, outside his home in 1980, John Lennon was shot and killed. And apparently his last words, according to an interview with one of the 2 policemen that took him to the hospital, was, yeah. That's the last thing he said. On a positive note, in 1980, actress Eva Green was born. Big thanks to that, because she's amazing.
Yes.
Macaulay Culkin was born. Chris Pine, Ryan Gosling, Kim Kardashian. And sadly, Alfred Hitchcock, Steve McQueen, and Peter Sellers passed away.
Oh, dang. And not that I don't love Ava Green, and she is great, but she's not quite Alfred Hitchcock. I'm just saying.
No, she's not quite Macaulay Culkin either.
Yeah, she's not quite Macaulay Culkin either. That's true. Oh, man. Okay, so my fun fact in 1980 is when the Miracle on Ice game took place. And it was in Lake Placid, New York. And the U.S. men's hockey team shocked literally the world when they beat the Soviet Union. And like, this is literally USSR. This is not Russia. This is the Soviets, the Soviet Union, communism. Like, who was the guarantee, like the favorite to win it all, take gold, just trounce everybody. Hence why it's called The Miracle on Ice. And several films have been made about it, including the film Miracle on Ice. So, all good stuff.
Basically, it was Rocky 4-ish.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, here's my second one, which is a little bit tied to yours. The Soviet Union's first rock music festival starts. First time they had a rock and roll festival in the Soviet Union was in 1980. They were decades behind everyone else. Weird to think about, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, that's bizarre. Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Man, just communism is bad, y'all. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But maybe that signaled a turning point.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, yikes. That's just, that's crazy to me. Wow. Dang. Okay. Well, my next fact has to do with comedy. The most watched and considered the funniest late night host, who quite frankly would probably wipe the floor with today's late night host, let's be real, is the one and only Johnny Carson. And the comedic duo of 1980 that people like purchased their merch, purchased their like just all of the things was Cheech and Chong. So your funny guys of 1980 were Johnny Carson and Cheech and Chong, and they were actually relatively pretty even as far as like viewers and pop culture I guess now we would call it memeability, but for like people quoting them or reiterating their jokes and such, Johnny Carson and Cheech and Chong were tied.
And you had to watch it live.
You did have to watch it live, yes.
Yeah. Well, my third fact from 1980 is a nerdy one, and it's kind of it's a bit tied to the U.S. as well. But on May 22nd, Pac-Man was released by Namco, and it was re-released in the United States through Midway. The Pac-Man series has 8 records in the Guinness World Records, including most successful coin-operated game. Pac-Man themed merchandise sales exceeded 1 billion, which is 2.7 billion adjusted for inflation, in the US alone by 1982. That's how you do a mascot.
Yeah, that's how you do a mascot. God
Yeah.
dang. I guess I should have made this my first fact, since you had done births and deaths, but my third fact is May 18th, 1980, Mount St. Helens erupts in Washington. I mean, that thing it didn't erupt. It like blew out the side of the mountain. Like that thing exploded. I mean, it was insane. And it killed 57 people and threw ash. It threw an ash cloud so large into the sky that Minnesota had the sun blocked out for 3 days. So, for those of you who are not familiar with the USA's, I guess, structure, I don't know, the map, Minnesota's like 6 states over.
Geography.
Yeah, there you go. Geography. There's the word I'm looking for. Hang on. I'll pop up one of those big kitty colorful maps. 1 second. There we go. I should have known better. I should have had this ready to go. Here we go. So, Washington is this blue state over here on the far left. So, this is where Mount St. Helens was in this area. So, that means it went past the Idaho Panhandle, Montana, North Dakota, and landed in Minnesota, like all the way over here in this other dark blue state, Minnesota. Their sun was blocked out for 3 days because of the eruption at Mount St. Helens.
So it's true, all the shit in Washington does spill over to other states.
Unfortunately, especially when you have an eruption that's so massive it takes out half a mountain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty insane. I don't think people realize just how big that eruption was. And it blows my mind anytime I see that.
Yeah. My second to last fact is music related. The band Iron Maiden released their debut album on April 14th. In 2017, it was ranked 13th on Rolling Stone's list of the 100 greatest metal albums of all time. So they came out with a bang in 1980. And,
yeah, they did. And we're all better for it.
Yes, Maiden is a superb band.
Yes.
They kind of sing history lessons, don't they?
They do. It's a lot. Sabaton does that as well. I really like both of those bands. I really like it.
Yeah. So, well done.
Absolutely. Yes. Well done. Like, just freaking yum. So my second to last fact is about People of the Year. So we've got Miss America, Miss USA, and Time Magazine's Man of the Year. 1980, we've got Time Magazine's Man of the Year was Ronald Reagan. And Miss America went to Cheryl Pruitt from Ackerman, Missouri. And Miss USA. What a lot of people don't realize is Miss America and Miss USA are 2 different pageants, just so that everybody's aware. One goes on to Miss Universe and one does not. I don't remember which. Sorry. I think it's Miss USA goes on. No, I don't know. I don't want to misquote. But Miss USA actually had a tie in 1980 with Sean Weatherly from South Carolina and Janine Ford from Arizona.
Sean Weatherly went on to star in the first season of Baywatch.
Oh, you took my next fact.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Because I've just been watching Baywatch.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. And hold on, I'll pull up. So I did have this picture ready to go. No one should be surprised that she was one Miss she won Miss USA, or two that she was in Baywatch. I mean, like, look at that. That's 1980s beauty right there. And then for those of you,
she was arguably a very good actress too.
yes, she was.
Her acting in Baywatch is pretty damn good, to be honest. And this is before they started doing the slow motion running. In season 1, every Baywatch episode is basically a mini 80s movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. And for anybody that's curious, Sean Weatherly did end up winning Miss Universe. There she is in her Miss Universe crown. So she did win Miss Universe that year as well.
And
so,
I think she's also in one of the Police Academy movies.
Interesting.
Maybe the third one.
Well, should we show her in so this is not a Baywatch. I don't know that this scene was in Baywatch necessarily, because I don't know when it would be, but it was a Baywatch promo. I'm just saying. Like,
hello there.
This is a Baywatch promo.
Yeah, she actually wore more in Baywatch.
Yeah, she did. She wore a lot more in Baywatch. Here she is with the Hoff.
Yeah, and she quit Baywatch because she wanted to have kids.
Yep.
And so they had her get half eaten by a shark.
Spoilers? I don't know. Maybe we'll do 80s shows. Maybe we won't. That's not even an 80s show. That kind of crosses over.
89.
Yeah. So it's like right at the cusp. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, indeed. So promos used to be fun. Shows used to be fun. Women used to be allowed to be gorgeous unapologetically.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good stuff. It's okay. So you do your last fact, and I'm going to hunt for a new one really quick.
Well, my last one is in 1980, the global eradication of smallpox was certified by the World Health Organization. Basically, it's signaled it was officially done. Smallpox is estimated to have killed up to 3 million people in the 20th century, and around 300 million people in the 20th century, and around 500 million in the last 100 years of its existence. So the eradication of that one was a big deal.
That's
a very big deal.
Yeah, I did not realize it had killed that many people. Like,
probably more. It's just estimated to have killed that one. That many.
Wow. Like, wow. It probably did kill more. You're probably right. So I guess my next, since this will actually be a good segue. According to Box Office Mojo, the top 5 films and the top 5 most popular TV shows. So we'll do TV shows first. Top 5 most popular TV shows. Number 1 is Dallas on the network CBS. Number 2, Dukes of Hazzard, also CBS. Number 3, 60 Minutes, CBS. Man, CBS used to be loaded. Look at this.
Yeah.
Number 4, MASH. I love MASH. I own it on DVD. I watch it to this day. Oh my goodness. And number 5, and MASH was also CBS. So CBS took the top 4 out of 5 most popular TV shows in 1980. And number 5 went to The Love Boat, which was on ABC.
Which was also a fun show.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I had no idea that, I knew CBS used to have good programming. I just had no idea they had such great programming. I was unaware that The Dukes of Hazzard was a CBS program when it first came out.
Times change.
Uh-huh. The big movies, top 5 of 1980, are Empire Strikes Back at number 1. Wait, I thought that everybody hated Empire Strikes Back. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Number 2 is 9 to 5. I've never heard of that one.
It's Dolly Parton, isn't it? That's where
I
the
don't
song's
know.
from, too. It's Dolly Parton movie.
Maybe we'll have to, when we come back to the 1980s, I might have to make that one my film. Number 3 is Stir Crazy. Number 4, Airplane. And 5, Any Which Way You Can. So I've
Clint
heard of,
Eastwood and an orangutan.
yes, yep. So
Great fun.
I've heard of and watched 4 out of 5, but I've never heard of 9 to 5. Interesting. Oh, so that's like this. I know the song. Yes, you're right, Lethal. Working 9 to. Oh, we're gonna get hit with copyright. I better not do that. Also, I don't know that I should be singing right now after doing all that gunk stuff. But
Well, you've been working 5 to 9.
9 to 5.
Because you got up at 5, right?
Well, yeah, I work 5 a.m. to like midnight. But you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
That's why, I always giggle when you've got these Zoomers. I think that's what Gen Z is called. They're like, oh my God, I had to get up at 7:30 today to go to 8 a.m. class, and I'm just dead on my feet. And I'm like, oh, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. But it is what it is. Just kidding. So I think that runs us through our facts for the day, right?
Yeah.
For this episode. So to get to the main event, for those of you who don't know, we've got 2 really good films that, in my honest to God opinion, I was really surprised that Stig had never seen the one that I picked. So because I think I think we're gonna start with my pick solely because it's the trailer that I have picked out. Or
yeah, plus
first.
I started with the facts, so
True. I appreciate you letting me go first. The first up, which I am incredible. We can't share video. So for those of you who don't know, my streams lately have been getting manually reported to YouTube for copyright infringement, even though I'll have the trailer going on with no sound and I'll be commentating on it. And so it turns into transformative content. 4 of my streams have gotten hit manually. Someone's reporting me. So there's going to be no sound, and we're going to do our best to offer commentary
wait,
as it plays.
That was my movie.
Yes. Oh wait, that's your movie. Not mine. I'm just kidding.
You spoiled it.
I did. I ruined it. Hold on. I'll fix it.
I'll stab myself.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. So the first film that we're going to talk about today is Alligator. And it was different. It's
yeah.
I think they were going for a Jaws feel, if I remember is what you told me, Stig.
Yeah, kind of.
But you know the alligators in the sewer and everything, guys? Yeah, that came from somewhere. And so somebody was like, let's monetize it. And I mean, you know what? More power to you.
Yeah, and it has the great Robert Forster in it. Passed away not long ago, sadly.
I know. So, Stig, since this was the movie you picked, I went ahead and had to watch it. And I was, like I said, it was bizarre because it wasn't quite as terrifying, and I think you'll probably agree with me on that. It wasn't quite as terrifying as Jaws. But
Yeah, it
also,
was more like Tremors with less humor.
yeah,
Maybe.
that would probably be, it was somewhere in between Tremors and Jaws. It wasn't quite as terrifying as Jaws, but it wasn't quite as funny as Tremors. It was this sort of in between space. I don't know, like it felt like they were trying to take themselves seriously, obviously. But like even just the beginning, like the intro, to give you guys an idea, the alligator ends up in the sewer because a girl wins it at like a fair or something, and the dad chunks it into the toilet and flushes it.
Yeah, and then it gets exposed to stuff in the sewer.
And then you've got these evil scientists at an animal clinic doing all these experiments, and they're throwing away all of these illegal experiments down the sewer holes, down into the sewers, and the croc has been eating it. And so it's mutated. Sorry, the alligator. This alligator has been mutated into this ginormous freaking monstrosity.
Yeah.
And I was. Oh, go ahead.
It's surprisingly well made for its time.
Yes.
Because today they would do it with a bad CGI crocodile or alligator. This one was practical effects, and
yes, and it held up relatively well. In it, like it's just like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. People are like, why does this still hold up? Answer: it's not CGI.
Yeah,
it is. It's all practical effects. They built this thing just like they built the dinosaurs.
Yeah, and this is certainly not one of the best movies ever made whatsoever. It's something to watch on a Friday night, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's
definitely a popcorn film.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
not so, yeah, it's not so scary that, somebody like it's not so scary to the point that someone would be like genuinely terrified, but it's just scary enough that it keeps you like intrigued. And the thing too is like people are dying that you don't like. At least I didn't expect to die. Specifically, there is a scene where these kids are playing pirate and they make one of the kids walk the plank.
Yeah, in the swimming pool.
And alligator's in the swimming pool, and he gets the kid.
Yeah, and the kid sees the alligator just before he falls in.
So
they had the balls to kill off a kid in a movie like that, which very rarely happens.
Yes.
And it got bloody in that pool too.
It did. It got, you don't actually see them eat the kid. You don't actually see it eat the kid, but you see all of the like carnage and the pool literally turns into a pool of blood. I think they kind of went a little bit crazy. Not gonna lie. But yeah, you got people losing arms and legs and half their body. You got a kid getting chomped up. There's definitely people you expect to get eaten that get eaten. And then there's definitely people that you, like I said, don't expect to get eaten that get eaten. Yeah, Jaws did kill off a kid, which is why I think they probably killed a kid off in this, because they were definitely going for that Jaws vibe.
Yeah.
But again,
but you never see it in, Jurassic Park or anything like that.
No, you don't.
Not even in Tremors.
Nope. I think for a lot of people, and myself included in it, I really like when kids are involved. That's a part of the reason Flowers in the Attic is one of my least favorite films and stories and books. Like even Little Women, like I realize that Beth isn't super little, but still, like, it's just whenever kids are involved, that's when I would tuck my head into somebody's shoulder right there. Like,
It's
for real.
it's the writer or the movie maker playing on parental instincts
Yep.
to protect the kids. That's pretty much what it is.
Yep, and it works like a charm for anybody that's, got an ounce of humanity or parental whatever in them.
Yeah.
But that almost did me in, I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie.
Still, if you're into monster flicks and all,
Yeah.
you can do a lot worse than this.
Yes, you can. This is a great monster flick. It actually makes sense.
Yeah, the story is actually quite okay.
Yeah, it tracks. It makes sense, like where they go, how they ended up, what they did, why the alligator grew so big.
Yeah, they attempted to explain it in a
it wasn't just
way.
it wasn't just like an incoherent, you have no idea what's going on monster film. They really tried to give it continuity and storytelling, and some characters that you really did want to see get eaten, like this guy. So since
he paid a couple of street thugs basically $10 to help him hunt the alligator.
Yep.
I mean, what a cheap bastard.
Yeah, and then he found it. He found it all right.
Yeah.
But, Lethal, you're so sweet. Prince Lethal donated $10 and says, "Here's some simp bucks." Aw, thank you, sir.
Top man.
Huh?
I said he's a top man.
He is a top man, indeed. I think 5 of those simp bucks were probably for you, Stig.
No, they're all for you.
Jacob Ironside says, "I saw Jaws for the first time when I was a kid, right before going to the beach on vacation." Oh!
Yeah, similar story. I grew up on an island that had tourists in the summer.
Oh.
And I had watched Jaws when I was, I don't know, 10, something like that. And I spent a lot of time in a small boat because I used to go fishing with my friends and family and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember going fishing shortly after I saw Jaws. And I was paying very close attention to the water on that fishing trip,
Yeah.
And I also, one of my friend's dads, dad looked like, he looked like Quint.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I don't remember if it was, I forget what movie it was, but I have this very distinct memory of watching a film where electric eels came out of the vent in the pool. Like the grate at the bottom. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, I think I was like 6 or 7 when I saw it, I would rather get into the lake or the river than the pool because of that movie. And then
sounds like almost like a Bond villain trap, doesn't it?
Kinda, yeah.
Tosses someone who failed into the pool and
into the pool of electric
lets in
eels.
the electrical eels
Yes.
while he's standing there telling them the facts about the eels.
Yep. That does actually 100% sound like a Bond villain thing. You are absolutely correct, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was a Bond film. I don't remember. I don't remember the film.
I don't think. Well, there was one Bond movie where Bond tossed one into a small aquarium with electric eels, but I don't think a villain has used them.
No, I don't think so.
There's been a few sharks though, and piranhas in one of them.
Yes, I remember my mom. She almost died from laughter when she was telling me that the when she was trying to explain that the ocean was more dangerous than the pool. Because I was like convinced that the lakes and the rivers and the ocean were safer than a pool inside of a building.
Yeah.
Because by the way, I grew up in the northern U.S., so 98% of our pools are indoors, and I whew, like my mom could not figure out why I was okay going polar bearing and swimming in the lake that had northern pike in it. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a northern pike, but those things have got some vicious teeth. So she couldn't figure out why I was okay with that. But I wasn't okay getting into the pool, and so I told her, and so she's like in tears laughing so hard, explaining to me that that is not the case and electric eels don't just come up out of the vents. And then she was like, here's what's in the river, here's what's in the lake, here's what's in the ocean. It didn't stop me from going into the river, the lake, or the ocean, but I was more cautious. Like,
It should have been glad you didn't want to watch a Monster. That one has a serial killer turned into a shit monster coming out of the toilet and grabbing people.
Well, snakes in the toilet are a thing in the south of the U.S.
I've seen that.
So, yeah, that does happen.
Clips and stuff. Yeah, they come up through the sewers.
Yep. Or if you've got they'll sneak into the house another way. They'll just get into the pipes because they're trying to find warmth.
There's a scene like that in Snakes on a Plane. Guy was peeing in the bathroom,
and everybody that lives in the southern U.S. could relate to that scene. I promise you. But yeah. So overall, I would say this film, between the shock value, the quality of the alligator, the overall story, like I said, it's not Jaws by any means, but it has enough of that scare factor, and the storytelling is cohesive enough. The acting is really great. I'm gonna have to give this one, for me, I think I'll give it probably a 6.5.
Yeah, that's not bad. Above average.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'll agree with everything you said. The main thing is that the alligator needs to work.
Yes.
That one needs to come off good, and it does good enough. So I'm gonna give it a 5 though, which in my opinion is not a bad score. It's completely on the middle, right? Average.
Yeah.
Which puts it on 11.5 out of 20.
11.5 out of 20. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, definitely watchable. Basically, people in the chat, what we're doing is we're giving the movies 0 to 10 score, and then we combine them for a 0 out of 20 score. So Alligator scored 11.5.
Yep. Which is not, I mean, that's a decent, for it being what it is, which is not Jaws and not Tremors. Like you said, the practical effects and all that stuff, the alligator does work.
Yeah, and Robert Forster is actually great in this.
Yes, he is. 11.5 is not too shabby.
Nope.
So absolutely,
I would say watch it on the streaming service or rent it if it's cheap, but I wouldn't recommend anyone go out of their way to buy a Blu-ray.
Yeah, if you happen to see it in the bin for like $2, go ahead and pick it up. It's a great, it's a great popcorn flick. But it's not going to change the world of cinema. Yeah,
and it's also not too rewatchable. Because I don't think it's quotable at all.
No, not really. Really, the main reason you would watch this is Robert Forster.
Yeah. Would you agree if I said it has good acting but lacks charisma as
Yes,
a
I
movie.
think he just didn't really have anybody in the cast to work with, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, anybody that was opposite him pretty much died within 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Except for the lady, who was actually a good actress too.
Yes, she was a good actress. But she didn't really show up. She was kind of not there for the first 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
she was
she was,
she was introduced as a minor character, and then for the second half of the movie, she's one of the main ones.
yeah. So it was kind of a weird, how they handled it with her was kind of weird. But yeah,
Oh,
outside of her, pretty much everybody opposite of Forrester's character died.
yeah, yeah. The a little bit cheesy how the alligator actually got to the scientist and the mayor, who was behind the shit. You know, it was a bit convenient how it got to the garden party of all places.
Yeah,
It was fun watching
it
it
was.
trash the car, though.
Yeah, no, guys. Like, yeah, it was convenient, but also kind of like really entertaining.
It's like it read like a oh sorry it felt almost like a little graphic novel ish one-off story.
Mm, yeah, for sure. That could definitely work.
Yeah, there's a
But
sequel.
I,
Yeah, I think it was
I won't.
released.
I won't be watching it. I'm just gonna.
It's called the Alligator 2: The Mutation. I think it's an albino alligator that time.
Oh, interesting. Not interesting enough to make me want to watch it.
No, no, I think
But
it's. I don't think it's as good as the first one.
nah. Probably not, considering what the first one was. But so Alligator walks away with a 6.5 from me, a 5 from Stig, and a total of 11.5 out of 20.
Yeah.
Next up is the film that I picked for Stig to watch,
Which is
and
Raging Bull.
yep.
And I had not seen this before.
And
I had
am.
It's sometimes some movies just keep avoiding you. Every time you want to sit down and watch it, someone pops by or someone calls. Distractions happen, right?
Yeah.
This is one of them for me. But I watched it when you gave me the job to watch it.
Gave you the job.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like I was just shocked you hadn't seen this before. Like, because I was like, well, Raging Bull is really good, and I was like, it's a Martin Scorsese film. It's got De Niro and Pesci in it. I can't remember the main actress's name, but she was really good in this one too. And I just can't. I mean, her name is Vicky in the movie. I just can't think of who the actress's name is. But this film is just.
Oh,
it
it's
doesn't get enough love.
Kathy Moriarty.
Oh, Kathy Moriarty. Okay, yeah. Yep. So, this film is based on a boxer, Jake, I'm going to say LaMotta's life. And it's insane. I mean, it's called Raging Bull for a reason. So
yeah, he has anger issues.
Yeah.
This is based on a true story.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by a book written by the main character.
Yep.
It's and it's in black and white.
Yes.
That was the first thing I noticed. But it works for this movie. It certainly works for this movie.
Absolutely.
And this is very much a Scorsese movie.
Oh yeah.
It has, you can watch 10 minutes and you'll realize, yeah, this is directed by Scorsese, which is a good thing.
Yes.
De Niro is excellent in it. Kathy Moriarty is great. But I thought Joe Pesci stood out.
Yes. I love Joe Pesci in this film. It's actually one of the It's one of the first films that I realized that I was watching Joe Pesci, if that makes sense. Because, like, when Joe Pesci's, I did not realize that, because he's so good at getting into character.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like actors today where, it's, okay, guys, don't hate me for this. Like, please don't. But, it's not like when you watch a Rock movie and it's like, it's The Rock playing another Rock in another movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just being themselves, and so they make the movie fit around them. Joe Pesci, like, his ability as an actor, I feel, is so underrated, because there's films where I don't, like, I'll be like, oh my God, I love this film. It's so incredible. Like, have you ever seen With Honors?
Might have.
Okay. If not, that's going to definitely be on our list coming up. Like, there are films where I watch and I do not believe, like, I can't believe that I didn't realize it was Joe Pesci, because that's just how into character he gets.
Yeah, and he's so versatile.
Yes.
The guy can play anything, and in my opinion, Joe Pesci he's better than De Niro as an actor.
Oh yeah. Yes, I would have to agree.
I would put him up there with Jack Nicholson and Gene Hackman and all those greats.
Yes.
Because he actually is that good, but he never gets the headlines, you know?
No. And when he does, and that's what I'm saying, like, he is in, I can't believe you've never seen With Honors. I want to say it's
I think I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's got Brendan Fraser in it too. And, like, I think that movie came out in the 90s. So we're still several months from getting to that one. But he's a headliner in With Honors, and it is just freaking brilliant. But we're going to focus on Raging Bull. So, what was your take on the movie? What did you think? Give us a breakdown.
Well, it's a biopic. No pun intended. It doesn't hold any punches. You know, it doesn't hold back whatsoever. The main character that De Niro plays is not likable whatsoever. He's an asshole, and he beats his wife. You know, he does domestic violence, and which is kind of tough to watch sometimes, but they show it.
Yeah. He puts her through. If you guys are curious, like, he puts her through stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like he backhands her and she falls onto the bed.
No.
Like, he throws her through a glass framed, like, pane window door thing.
Yeah, he also attacks his brother. He's insanely jealous and possessive.
Yep.
And it's very hard to root for the guy all through the movie. You know, his brother seems to be the good guy.
Yep.
But this isn't Rocky whatsoever. This is not Rocky. And the movie doesn't really have any highlights either. It's just it's a biopic. It's not like some ultimate fight happens or anything like that. But it works for what it's trying to do, absolutely, and it is a great movie. Probably not one I'm going to rewatch often.
Yeah. No,
but, everyone delivers their best, I think, in this one.
Absolutely,
including the director.
Yep. Like you said, this is you get 5 minutes into the movie and, like, it's a Scorsese film. And the thing about Scorsese, like, he's really not afraid, at least, especially with his 80s films, like, he is not afraid to show, like, the brutality of stuff. And, like, and capture it. Like, it's not like with a lot of other directors where they'll like they just use the sound or like shadows or something like that. Like Scorsese will put it like full bore on screen for you to witness, and like you get it's truly shocking. And yes, Nerdporial. This film, I think Scorsese picked it up because the Rocky films had been doing, because Rocky came out in 75, 76.
75 or 76.
Yeah.
And the sequel was in 78, I think.
I think you're right. So the Rocky films had been doing really well. And people were talking about them, and they were like, oh, look how inspirational this is and where he's come from and stuff like that. And I think Scorsese was trying to not necessarily bring the Rocky films down, but he was trying to show what some of these boxers actually were.
Yeah.
Because they weren't all that, like, a lot of them had like, not anything as bad as LaMotta. Like, that's why this is called Raging Bull. That's why this is a thing.
Makes you wonder what they didn't put in, though.
Right. So
they certainly didn't shy away, but I bet you LaMotta did way more shitty stuff that's in the book and not in the movie.
Oh yeah,
and probably stuff he never mentioned too.
Yeah, this is where we come to. That was a beautiful segue. Thank you, Stig, and you didn't even know you did it. Yeah. This is where we get to Unreliable Narrator. You guys have to remember that LaMotta is the one that wrote the book that this is based on. He's the one that helped write this screenplay. And
he also comes off as a narcissist.
Yes. And so think about how bad he still comes off as, like, he's not a hero. He is an antagonist, if anything, in his own story.
He would be the one Rocky beats up.
Yes, he'd be the one that Rocky beats up, absolutely. And
side note, which kind of happened in Grudge Match. Have you seen that? It's a boxing movie. Two old rivals getting to fight a final fight when they're in their 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Stallone and De Niro. It's fun. That's a fun movie.
I've not watched it, but I definitely had it on my list for sure. It was yeah. I did know that came out. I do need to check that one out. But yeah, in this film, you guys have to remember we have an unreliable narrator, because this is all coming from LaMotta. This is his book, this is his story, this is his screenplay. So he is able to adjust or sort of
spin his own narrative.
Like, he can exclude whatever he wants. He can downplay whatever he wants. He can play up whatever he wants. And even with that ability, like, you still see how bad it was. Like, you still see that it was this bad. Imagine how much worse it must actually be. Because there's no way that this is the whole truth. Like,
yeah, plus characters might have been left out too.
Oh yeah.
Because they just didn't fit the movie, but he could have been shitty to a lot of people.
Yep.
And he probably was.
Yep. Yes, Jacob Ironside, he was showing the darker side of boxing. Nerdporial, yes. Scorsese's goal was to show that, because I think I'm not trying to knock Scorsese. He is, like, it's freaking Scorsese, for the love of God. But he is not a rose-tinted glasses kind of guy.
No.
At all. He's very much into, and I mean, it's Scorsese. Like, he's known for the grit. He's known for the hard stuff. Like, literally this movie throws some incredibly hard punches, like physically and emotionally. So it's
kind of raw.
yes. And that's a very Scorsese approach. And with what Scorsese was trying to accomplish, which was to show that boxing was not Rocky all the time. I think he did an excellent job.
I think this one and Rocky 1 maybe shows boxing more realistically.
Yeah.
Everything after Rocky 1 becomes kind of like Rambo with boxing gloves, right?
I don't know that I would go that far, but I could see kind of what you're saying. But, I mean, is it Rocky 2 or 3? I mean, he loses his mansions and his car and his...
Yeah, he loses...
because he loses everything. And that's very real, too. Like, Rocky got pretty gritty with it, too.
He was just buying all kinds of stuff after the first one.
Yeah,
he basically got broke. And then...
Oh, that was 5, Lethal? Okay, thank you, Lethal. Mwah, appreciate it.
Yeah, well, he loses a lot in the second one, and in the sixth one, he's lost a lot too.
Yeah, and he, because he kind of snaps after Apollo dies, and sort of just goes back into his spiral.
Yeah, the director's cut of Rocky 4 was released right before Christmas, which has a lot more Apollo and Rocky scenes in it. And the death of Apollo in the director's cut, Rocky does have some blame in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Adrian tried to talk sense into them too, but didn't work. And Drago is a beast in it.
I mean, he's a beast in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, the fight against Apollo in the director's cut is brutal.
Dang.
That one is he destroys them.
Interesting. I definitely need to find it and check it out.
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's Rocky. It always is. Yeah, unlike Rocky, kind of like what Stig said, this film is kind of like Alligator. It's not really very rewatchable. This is kind of something you pick up maybe once every 5 or 10 years. Like,
yeah, something like that.
This is not a constant rewatch. It's very hard to stomach a lot of the scenes. And it's a good enough story, but kind of like what Stig was saying, at no point do you feel like a high or do you want to root for De Niro's character. You kind of actually really want him to get his ass handed to him in a lot of cases.
I was kind of just, when he gets taken to jail, I was like, yeah, good riddance.
It's like that's where you belong. So, well, what did you think of the film overall?
It does exactly what it's advertised to do. It's a great biopic movie. It's kind of flawless, but that doesn't mean it's a completely perfect 10 out of 10 either. It told the story it was supposed to tell. But I didn't necessarily like the story. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm still landing on an 8 out of 10 though. Even if it's not rewatchable or anything, but for the first time viewing, it's an 8 out of 10.
Not surprising. It is a Scorsese film. I mean, the man knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah. And Joe Pesci was the highlight of the movie, in my opinion.
I agree with everything you said. I think that this is a pretty flawless biopic. It does not hold back. It shows exactly what it's meant to show. Um, the acting, the whole cast is just superb. Um, it really gives you this sense that even though Rocky can get pretty real, it doesn't even touch what Raging Bull did. And I am gonna have to agree with you on an 8 out of 10. Like, even though, like you said, it's not really a rewatchable film. It's not something you're gonna wanna, go back to every other Friday or anything like that. But for it being what it is, it being done the way that it is, honestly, the aesthetic for black and white really helps sell this movie for me.
Yeah,
Because
it's and it's not a movie you watch to get cheered up.
no, no. Yeah, don't. If you need something uplifting, don't watch this movie.
Yeah,
Really don't watch a Scorsese film if you need some uplifting. Just saying.
and this movie would get in trouble if it was made today.
Absolutely would. Yes. 1000%. But it's an excellent biopic. It's an excellent film. I think with it being in black and white, it just highlights sort of the frame of mind and the state that everybody is in, because there's no color in these people's lives is kind of the
It's
sense you get.
kind of what they did with Schindler's List as well.
Yes, exactly. This is not a happy story, and I'm not saying that all black and white films are sad. Of course not. Casablanca, come on. But this film uses the black and white aesthetic purposefully, because there is not a highlight moment, like you said.
It doesn't even have highlights in the story either.
Mm-mm.
It's just it's dreary.
Yeah. It's not.
It's like the Charles Dickens of boxing.
Yeah, that would be actually a really good yes, that's an excellent comparison. It like, yes, Jake, yep. Blood red.
Correct.
Absolutely. Like, I miss, so kind of what this film highlights for me, even though it's not uplifting, and it's not happy. I mean, this is not a happy film, but it is an excellent film.
Yeah.
And I miss, like, just kind of like what Jacob Ironside said, the credits are in blood red, the film is in black and white. Nothing is unintentional with this film. Scorsese doesn't just, like, you don't get a random Starbucks cup in the film. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
Sitting on a table. You don't get, you don't have people trying to put jokes in death scenes where they don't belong, or like when someone asks about a character, or like,
it's kind of authentic. Everything in it is authentic, including the characters and the sets, all of it.
Absolutely. It's something that I think a lot of people sort of take for granted, because the attention to detail in films has gone way down for a lot of directors. I mean, they don't care if you're in like a fantasy getup and then you're wearing Skechers or freaking, I don't know, Doc Martens.
Season 2 of The Mandalorian had a Mon Calamari alien character wearing a sweater from J.C. Penney's.
Right? Like, it's
and they got nominated for the best costumes.
Yeah, I'm just oof. I'm just blown away by how far quality of film has fallen. Like, even Alligator, like if Alligator was made today, it would be like you said, a crappy CGI gator
Yeah.
that wouldn't hold up, that you could totally tell was fake. Like
Alligator, the gator in it looked more than good enough.
yeah, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Like it still holds up. Those jaw, like when it's coming out of like the alley or down in the sewer, you're not like, oh, it's a plushie. You're like, damn, that thing looks real. So it's just the quality of film has gone so far down because people are just they're trying to cut corners, and then they wonder why nobody talks about their film, or people get upset with it, or the show, or whatever it is. And it's like, well, you didn't follow the source material, or you tried to cut corners, or
well, want to hear something scary?
yeah.
2017, right? Pretty much just sequels and comic book stuff coming out, right?
Uh-huh.
In 1987, you have The Untouchables, The Princess Bride, Wall Street, Dirty Dancing, Adventures in Babysitting. You have Good Morning Vietnam. You have Spaceballs. You have Empire of the Sun. I think you have RoboCop and Lethal Weapon.
I can't wait to get to the 80s. It's like, oh god, 80s movies are just, oh.
Yeah, and Predator was 1987, I think. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Lost Boys.
God, those are such great movies.
Yeah, that's just 1987. I mean, compare that to 2017.
30 years. That's just sad.
Yeah, it's not even a contest. It's just it blows everything clearly out of the water.
Yeah, we are starving for original content. And the problem is anybody that has the capability of producing original content is being shouted down or shoved out because it doesn't necessarily meet Hollywood's current criteria.
Yeah, and a lot of those things that I mentioned from 1987 is stuff that spawned franchises.
Yep.
Oh, The Secret of My Success was 87 as well.
Dang. Like, that's just like, we should have become more creative, not less. And I just don't understand why there was such this. I mean, it seems like in 2008, 2009, all the way up to like 2013, we were headed in a good direction.
Yeah. Oh,
And
it's more from 87. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which in my opinion is the best one. Over the Top. You have Raising Arizona.
Dang. Those are good films. Yeah. Like, I just don't understand what happened. It's like we fell off a cliff somewhere. It's like I am honest to God, maybe the Mayans, like, I don't know. Maybe the world did end in 2012 and we're just watching it decay.
That's when the world went brain dead.
Yeah, it's like it hung on through 2013 and then but then in 2014 you just saw this huge shift and then it really fell off in 2015.
What happened was identity politics and the rise of the SJWs.
And I don't even know where they came from. Like, they just sort of manifested. It's so bizarre.
They appeared in the sewer like the alligator.
Yeah, exactly. It's just wow. Like, great films used to tell great stories. And great stories didn't necessarily have a happy ending.
The Running Man is 87 as well, which is kind of relevant today.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, so is Demolition Man.
Yeah. Oh, very relevant.
They came from the Negaverse. Yes, Lethal. That has to be it. Like, I am of mind, like, Gary from Nerdrotic pointed this out one time, because in 2012, they turned on the Hadron Collider, right? And they're like, oh, it's going to make a black hole, but it'll be fine. No, I agree with Gary. I think that they, like, ripped realities into each other. And so, like, the sane people of us are now living with the crazies that came through that rip in reality in 2012.
Yeah. Evil Dead 2, 1987 as well.
God dang, so much goodness in
And
1987.
the underrated John Carpenter movie, Prince of Darkness.
Yes. Dude, John Carpenter has so many underrated movies.
Yeah.
Like, it's just insane. But yes, Nerdporial, it is just we are now living through nostalgia bait and reboots, because there's nothing original. Like, you can't create something from nothing. You can't.
Basically, Hollywood has removed the line between nostalgia and necrophilia.
Oh God.
It's true though,
sad but true.
because they're basically just trying to reanimate corpses that they themselves have killed by just putting the right member berries in there. You know?
Yeah, I just like, here is the thing. I don't understand why you would choose a property to adapt to a screenplay that you don't love.
Oh, I know exactly why they're doing it. Because if you have something like the Wheel of Time, right? As soon as you start doing a Wheel of Time show or a movie, what have you, that IP comes with all the book fans. So you already have a guaranteed audience.
Yeah, but then you don't stick to the books. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Like, if you
doesn't
don't
matter.
stick,
They've already paid for it. So the money has been made.
It's just like, that's what really irritates me about, oh God, the Wheel of Time is such a trash fire. And I swear I will get my episode reviews out. It's actually painful for me to rewatch these episodes to continue to make these reviews. Like, it's so depressing, because here's the thing. Those IPs became popular for what they are, not for what they are not. So, if you choose an IP, respect it, because the reason it is as successful as it is because, one, the writers are smarter than you. Stop trying to be smarter than the authors. Like, you're not. It's just, you aren't. It's not going to happen. You're kidding yourself. And then, two, when you cry about it not being successful and it was so popular and it's just because of whatever ist or phobe thing you want to blame, no, it's because you did not respect the fiduciary responsibility you had for the fans of your IP. The fans of your IP have invested money into that property to make it what it is. And for those of you who don't understand what fiduciary means, is you are essentially you have the duty to act in good faith and in the best interest of, like, a trustee, or like the trust as a whole. The fan base is your trust. The fan base is your trustee.
Isn't it kind of common courtesy? It's like, if a friend lends you something, you're supposed to return it in the same shape.
Yes,
or better,
better condition. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yep.
Because if you let's say, you've written a book and someone makes a movie out of it and they completely change it, people's view of that story will be that of the movie. most likely, because that's what they've seen. They've
Mm-hmm.
seen the character looking like that. I mean, if you read the Lord of the Rings now, in my case, I can't see anyone else but Sean Bean when I read about Boromir.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So the impression in the minds of the people has been altered if they do a really bad job, and that's something you can't get back
Correct.
because nobody's gonna touch that IP for many, many, many years if it has flopped already due to mismanagement, right? Nobody's
Yeah.
gonna do another Wheel of Time show for at least 30 years
No, why
after
would
this
they?
shit.
Yeah. And it's just sad. And that is part of the reason why we are doing Blockbuster Archives, because there is so much greatness to be had.
Yeah, and I think Lethal will be happy with me when I say this, that the ones that could do stuff like that justice now, but by the looks of it, are the people that make animes.
Yeah.
And I don't even like anime, but they sure as hell treat their IPs with respect. So if some anime company got the rights to the Wheel of Time and did an anime series based on the books, they would stick to the source material.
Yes, yes, they would. And they would do it justice.
Yeah,
It would not be a Netflix adaptation
no.
at all. So, yes, that is part of the reason. Just like I do my nostalgia streams on Thursday nights. This is a monthly stream with Stig and I. And it's just going to be talking about great stuff and good films that, I mean,
Yeah,
you can go back and enjoy.
we're not gonna pick the, well, not every time. We're not gonna pick the top movies of the year. So most likely we're not gonna pick Ghostbusters for '84, but we're gonna pick watchable ones, right?
Yes. Like, I'm not
And
going to.
and maybe some movies people might not have watched, so it will count as a movie recommendation too. For, hey, here's something new to watch
Mm-hmm.
instead of being pissed off at Spider-Man 15 or something like that.
Yes. I would have to agree with that. And speaking of that, okay, and so guys, you do have to remember, I've said this on my nostalgia streams, but I'm gonna say it again here too. Um, just because something is low budget does not mean it is low quality. Don't confuse the two. Like, you can have excellent writing and really good acting, and then so on my nostalgia streams currently, I'm reviewing the Mythica films. Last week I went
Which
over.
are excellent. Those are
Yes,
fun.
those are fabulous films.
It's heart over budget.
Yes, exactly. They did, like, you can tell that they did not have. I mean, God, what did Black Widow have? A $200 million budget.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
guys,
in one of the Mythica movies, you can kind of tell that the big wagon they're riding, it has a car underneath.
yeah. But we won't tell you which one, and hopefully you won't look for that. But um the thing is, like, with with Black Widow, it's a $200 million film. You anticipate flawlessness as far as CGI, and, like, if you're going to invest $200 million into a film, you have an expectation of quality. You can see wires in Black Widow. Like, you can literally see green screen and wires in a $200 million film. $200 million budget film. There we go.
Yeah.
In Mythica, yes, it is lower budget, but it's a fantasy is expensive. That's why that's why they're so hard to make, and why a lot of independent studios can't really take on something like Mythica, which is a 5-film saga. So yes, it has a lower budget, and yes, the CGI is not fabulous, but everything else, the writing, the acting, the directing, all of that stuff, is it's pretty freaking phenomenal. It's that's what it is. So understand, especially because we're talking some 80s films, like I know my next one anyway is going to be considered a low budget film, but I actually kind of really like it, and it is a fantasy film. It's been the inspiration for, I think, a lot of other films to follow it. But we'll see. I'm kind of hinting at what it is, but
Well, we will be revealing the movies for next month in this episode at the end, which means everyone watching can watch the movies before the next stream as well, and chime in the chat in the next episode.
And Lady T, thank you so much. I'm glad that this made you smile, and I'm glad that it was fun to listen to. That's the whole point. We need to not just close our wallets to things that we hate and are disrespecting us as fans and as paying customers, but you need to be willing to open your wallets and to stuff that you love, to stuff that is good, to encourage and reinforce positive behavior. You have to discourage the negative behavior, but you also have to reinforce the positive. And we only do that by supporting what we love, like great stuff. Like
basically, if you pay for shit, you get shit.
Yeah.
But you can, if you don't want that, and there's only shit ahead, you can turn around and go back to before the diarrhea happened.
Yeah.
Pick up some great stuff.
I guarantee you guys have not seen every film ever made. I guarantee you've not read every book ever written.
I see people telling me to watch Akira.
Yes.
Joke's on you, you bastards. I've seen it. I've actually watched some anime back in the day.
Haha.
Yes. But I'll tell you one thing. It's been so long, I don't remember much. So I'm going to rewatch it soon. And that should shut Lethal and Mara up a bit too.
Hey, I happen to be an anime fan as well. I highly recommend, if I have to give my anime picks, it kind of depends what you're into. Anime's got something for everybody. Yu Yu Hakusho, for sure. Rurouni Kenshin. Ramen 1/2. And it's Ranma, so Ranma 1/2. I know sometimes if I say it fast, it sounds like ramen, but it's not ramen. It's Ranma 1/2.
Someone conned me into watching Queen's Blade about 15 years ago. They said it was great, and I was like, there's only tits in this. And then they were like, yeah, it gets better, keep watching. And I trusted them, so I watched the whole damn thing.
Well, I mean, you could have stopped. You could have got off that crazy train.
Yeah, but I don't stop once I've started.
So, okay, fair.
Anyway, it didn't have tentacles, Lethal. It was close, though.
Yes. Sailor Moon. I will always recommend Sailor Moon because it's amazing. It is fantastic. It's got action. No. It's got adventure. It's got magic girl. It's got beautiful girls. It's got handsome men. And, of course, Lethal's in it. Prince Darien. So
I'm not watching that one. It has the it has that style that I hate.
Psh, it's fantastic. Also, Samurai X is fantastic. Inuyasha is really good too.
I've watched Ninja Scrolls, the movie.
Ninja Scrolls is not bad.
And Ghost in the Shell.
I like Ghost in the Shell.
I watched Castlevania on Netflix. Does that count?
Yeah, it counts.
And I watched another one on Netflix about some fighting dojo thing in Mexico.
Fighting dojo thing in Mexico.
Yeah, I can't. Mono something. I don't know.
It's not ringing any bells with me. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Nerdporial, I completely agree with you. To an extent. Like, some things I like better about Crystal, but animation style-wise, I prefer OG Sailor Moon, as well as some of the voice actors.
Oh, and
yeah.
I watched Blood of Zeus. Season 1. Didn't like it. Also on Netflix, I think.
Maybe you'd like Howl's Moving Castle.
Nina told me to watch that one. I think it was Nina.
Well,
it's like
a wise woman.
It's like a castle or something with legs on it, right?
I mean, that's not the whole thing. I think that's that's part Uh-oh.
Oh.
I'm being paged. Just a sec. But never watched much Sailor Moon, but enjoyed yours and Lethal's discussion of them. Almost made me want to read them. You should. Cybot, you should. Dragon Ball Z is like 80s action movies. I could agree with that to a degree. Yes, Samurai Champloo is good. Castle in the Sky is really great too. There's a lot of really great stuff out there. Yes, Trinity Blood, I agree. Watch anything harem, you'll love it. I mean, if that's what you're into, Stig, yes, you'd probably
I don't know what that is.
If you like tentacles, harem's right up your alley.
Okay, I was gonna say if it's Lethal telling me to watch it, it probably has tentacles in it. You know what? That's how you make an anime girl laugh. It takes tentacles. Okay then.
Anyway, sorry, I cut my mic. My bad.
Yeah, just a stupid pun.
Oh no, I heard you. I giggled. It's just I knocked my mic cord out, so you didn't hear me giggle. Yes, I'm sure that's what makes them giggle. But so without further ado, shall we go ahead and reveal our picks for next month?
Okay.
All right.
Ladies first.
Oh, you're so sweet. So I had two picked out just in case you had seen one. My first pick is Dragon Slayer.
I love it, but it's been ages since I watched it.
Okay,
so I'll definitely watch that one.
Yes. Okay, so when?
What? When?
I said when. You said you'll watch it again, right?
Yeah, before the next episode.
Yeah. So, Dragon Slayer, for those of you that do not know.
Yeah.
It came out
I have. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
No, just continue on.
So it is a fantastic freaking film. It came out in 1981. I think the runtime is just over 90 minutes. It's not incredibly long. And it is basically an apprentice is sent to kill dragons that's been eating girls.
Yeah. It's got Palpatine in it.
It does have Palpatine in it, yes.
For a while.
Spoiler.
Also, I think it won the Oscar for Best Special Effects.
Did it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, stop motion effects, I believe.
Oh, it just happens to be one of my favorite 1981 films that not a lot of people talk about.
No. Rarely gets mentioned on the top 10 fantasy movie lists and what have you. But I will definitely be watching that one, and I'm looking forward to it too.
Woo! As should you all. It will. It is a great time. Nerdporial, you're in for a treat. Yes, yeah. Subhuman. Yes.
I picked two for you as well, just in case you simply don't want to watch one of them. The first one, get your pencil ready, is Das Boot.
Of course, I've seen Das Boot, and I will 1000% watch that again. Yes. That was my second one for you, actually.
Really?
Yes.
My second one for you was Southern Comfort.
Oh, I love that one too.
Oh, well, you can only pick one of them.
I will watch Das Boot.
Okay, good, because I have that on Blu-ray, and I want to watch it again too.
There you go.
The trivia, the submarine in that movie is the same one as in Indiana Jones 1.
Nice. I love
Yep.
it. I didn't know that. I
For those of us, those of you in the chat that hasn't seen Das Boot, it's a German movie uh, about a German submarine crew in World War II. It's the best submarine movie ever made, easily. And it basically tells the story from the other side of the war. It's gritty, superb soundtrack in it, great acting, and the atmosphere is tremendous.
Yes, it is. It is such a fantastic film. Like, I'm really excited for next month. Like, this is going to be a fantastic one.
Jacob Ironside said it's actually a TV series that got cut into a movie. Yeah, kind of. They released it as all kinds of stuff, but it was in the cinema. So
Yes, it was. Um, oh yes, Anonymous, hello, and Krull is also fantastic. Hopefully, so part of the idea behind this particular show stream, the Blockbuster Archives, our goal is to help you guys sort of dig back into the past and find those gems and be entertained, deservingly so, because we all need escapism. So hopefully, this will get you hunting for some really good stories. And if you've not seen Das Boot or Dragon Slayer, or even if you have, go ahead and watch them before the next next month, when Stig and I will be back to talk about these again.
Yeah,
So
and some 80s and 1981 trivia as well at the beginning.
Yes, 1981 trivia. So, Stig, do you have anything you want to plug before we bow out?
Well, I've lost track of streams though, because Teresa's doing a lot of them that I'm on. But I'm on her stream, her channel on Saturdays for the Lord of the Rings book thing where we go through each chapter, which is a lot of fun. You're on it too.
Yes.
And she does those movie streams where we pick 2 movies or 3 movies. She's doing one of them tonight, actually. I think it's called Pick 2 or the double pick, I think.
Double
where
feature?
everyone on the panel picks 2 movies in a category. And tonight's category is 80s goofball comedies, I think.
Oh, excellent category.
So that I might be on that one if I'm awake. And on Wednesday, I'm on Jade Shadow's channel for the Cringe Factory, which is we basically rip into the insanity in pop culture.
And there
usually it's 4 topics, I think. It's difficult to narrow it down to 4 topics. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, there is a plethora of content for you there for sure. So that's where you can find Stig. He's also on the Twitter. And thank you so much for.
Side note about Twitter. Don't take it personal if I don't follow back. It's just that I don't pay attention to that. So it could take 6 months. It's just I just don't look at how many followers I have and all that.
Yes.
So it's not that I don't like you if I don't follow back. It's just
no, that could be a reason too. So just kidding.
Nah, but if it's really important, just tell me to follow back or something, because I've actually had people get pissed at me for not following back. Yeah.
Well,
but then I didn't follow back on spite, of course.
Out of spite, as you should. Yes, no, I love those streams. I'm a part of some of those streams. That is where you can find Stig here on YouTube. He's on the Twitter. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on.
Yep, it's my pleasure as always. So, for those of you who don't know, I touched on it a little bit already. I do my nostalgia streams every Thursday. And for this week and the next 2 weeks following is going to be the remainder of the Mythica films, which are fantastic. But that stream is also dedicated to basically just what it says, nostalgia. Like it's Nostalgia Nirvana. It's stuff that will have you smiling. It's great movies, it's great films, great books, great show, whatever it is that we land on. Could be music, books, film, TV, a combination, who knows. But that's what that stream is for. I have a couple other streams that I have in the works that will get started up soon, but I also, the one and only Lethal Lightning and I do a Sailor Moon stream over on his channel once a month. It's the last Saturday of every month for me, last Sunday of the month for him, since he's in Australia. And we are on Sailor Moon Manga 5, Volume 5 for this month. And last month we did it in the middle. It was on December 18th that we did it so that it didn't interfere with Christmas or New Year's for anybody. So that one is up on his channel still, and you can catch us later this month talking about Volume 5. But all of the previous Sailor Moon streams are still up on his channel. So go give Lethal some love. He has definitely earned it and deserved it. And you can find me here. I've got videos that'll be dropping. I have more streams that I'll be doing. And I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Getter. I'm most active on Twitter, but I am trying to get better about other platforms. Instagram is hard because I don't do the selfie thing, which is hilarious because I'm a millennial and we're supposed to be the selfie generation, and I just don't do that. So, yes. And, well, Subhuman, go back to Volume 5. That's all I can say. But I am looking forward to next month with the movies that we've picked. And I am looking forward to seeing all of you on Thursday and everything else in between. So on that note, I will say have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much, Stig, and much love to all.
Take care and be well.